So at one point, you know, and I told you I was an au pair girl, so I was an au pair girl also in England, a very rich family. And so we kept in contact somehow. And so she said, oh, I was in India, such a wonderful country. And I said, where were you? I mean, it's like, what? And so she, well, you know, five-star hotel, private chauffeur, and she's an interior designer, so she went to see all these fabrics and all this. And she said, but I did feel a bit guilty. So I said, well, you know, that does not help. So what you can do, you can go again to India, but the same amount of money you spend for your trip, you give to an organization, and then it helps somebody. So I don't know if she did, maybe not. That's what we can do. Also, you know, we're talking about attachment. It's also another good thing. If you think you're spending too much money on whatever, then you put the same amount of money aside and you give it to an organization. Doesn't have to be the Dharma Friends, sorry. anything that you trust and anything you're happy to give money to so that they can do whatever they're doing. So that's a good thing also to do something like that. Okay, so I think we're verse 32, isn't it?
Or 35.
Already? No. Alone we're born, alone we come into the world. Have you done this?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, like Losang journey on the road. Okay, so 34. No? Until the time comes around when four men carry me away amid the tears and sighs of worldly folk. Till then I will away and go into the forest. Right, yeah, 35. There, with no befriending or begrudging, I will stay alone in solitude, considered from the outset as already dead, thus when I die, a source of pain to none. People will suffer when you die. So actually, you know, not having friends, nobody will suffer when you die. Not having family, yeah, I'm not joking. No, you know, again, I know it's looking very one-sided, but that side also exists. If you don't have family and you don't have friends, you die, who will suffer? Have you ever had the pain of losing somebody by death? Oh, it's not light. It can be very troubling and very disturbing. So that's what he says. I mean, he's a monk, he doesn't have a family, I mean, he doesn't have children. So that's what he says. And he says that very happily, being concerned about others, not so much concerned about him. Okay, again, so how does that make you feel? Of course, for you it's impossible, you have too many friends already. But people will forget you. If you delete all your social media accounts, and no more phone calls, and no more this, and no more that, I don't know, you know. And they keep kind of in these channels. I don't know how long they will think about you the way they think about you now. Has it ever happened to you? Somebody sends a message and oh yeah, I totally forgot about that one. Yeah? So how does it make you feel? Verse 36, it's even more strong kind of. And likewise staying all alone, the sound of mourning will not hinder me. And no one will be there distracting me from thinking of the Buddha and the practice. So the mind will be on, okay, situation. You are in the airport. You need to go. You need to go through security. You know, I need this. You know what you want. Family doesn't want to let you go. They talk, they kiss, they hug, they this. Is it inspiring? No. And then, you know, if you go alone, no problem. You go through security, passport, all this. If the family is there, then you turn around and you wave, and there's pain, and you forget that your plane is in 10 minutes or half an hour or something like that. This is not just going on a trip, this is going to your next life. So again, don't forget, this is Buddhist, and so they do, you know, one does think about the next life. Where do I want to end up? It's not just, wherever it will be okay. How many of you go on a holiday just going to the airport and say, see, wherever the plane goes, I will take that one, I don't need to know where it goes. We wouldn't even do that for 2 weeks. But we are ready to do that for our next life.
Even a bus.
Huh?
Do we not go on a bus?
We wouldn't even go on a bus that we don't know where it goes. So if our mind would be trained like this, that we go wherever and everyone thinks, oh, it's nice, it's new, and I have never been here, oh, I've been here before, but we don't function like this. And this is why death can be such a frightening experience, because you have no clue where we're going, because more and more, the ways, even the time of arrival by minute details. We're so dependent on creating this false security. And we're surprised when the ways is kind of going with you somewhere where you didn't want to go. Is it because you always goes the other way and you always arrive? So neither this is good or bad, or that one, either being totally open and I go wherever the boss goes, or no, I need to know where I go. It's not about good or bad. It's about how we are conditioned. We are conditioned for wanting to have security and wanting to know where we're going. And that's what creates panic or fear at the moment of death. What do they say? Oh, can I get this together maybe? If you're a very good practitioner, you're looking forward to your death because you train the death absorptions. You train what will happen to your mind, to the body, the signs and all this before the mind leaves the body. You train that to go into, we were talking about experiences, to go into the clear light, the conventional nature of the mind, and then maybe there to be able to realize emptiness. That's the chance, because it will happen automatically without meditation, because all the other stuff absorbs. That's what they say, okay? I'm just repeating. And so they are looking forward to, wow, this then will go automatic, this is fantastic. Yeah? Like you train to play the piano, and it's a lot of struggle, but there will be a moment where it goes automatic. So you're looking forward to that one. So they say they're looking forward to the moment of death, so that they know, they will see if it works or not. We always want proof. Yeah, this is this other thing. If we can die consciously, we will have the proof. But my mind will, I don't know where it will be, I don't want to go, life is so wonderful. My family, my children, my grandchildren, what will they do without me? Especially, young mothers, when they have to go. I mean, this is so painful. How can they have a peaceful death is impossible. The only thought that would help, probably, but who is going to think that? May my children find a good substitute mother. But which mother is capable of thinking like that? We have stories of very good mothers, like, the story about, I want a child, and then the one who is the best mother should have it, so it's the one who gives it away. But boy, are we capable of doing that? Not sure. So, the next verse is a bit the same. So we will maybe make a meditation, and I'm sorry about me, we did warn you a bit, I think. So we're going to visualize our own death and to try to see whom do I want around me, and what do I want them to do? What do I want them to say? And you visualize or imagine them wailing and being sad and all this, and probably nothing will happen because we don't believe that we're dying anyway. But sometimes you can really experience these sensations that will come when the situation is like that. So then when he says in the next verse, therefore in those lovely gleaming woods, with joy that's marked by few afflictions, I shall pacify all mental wandering, and they remain in blissful solitude. Did I miss a verse, maybe? What is it here? Therefore I shall dwell alone, happy and can be feel different, very joyful, beautiful thoughts, pacifying all strength. There's no one around to disturb me with the mourning. Yeah, so the word was mourning, where people say, well, aren't we allowed to mourn in Buddhism? Of course you are allowed to mourn if you want to mourn, because for ordinary human beings it's important that we're not suppressing the pain. But it's also possible not to feel pain when somebody dies, even though you love that person very much. I told you this friend of mine who has just died, I was so happy that she could die in 10 days. So peacefully, that last night it was so peaceful. With the lamas knowing that she's dying, the lamas there, I really felt their presence. I'm sorry, I didn't feel sad. Is that bad? No? But then we did, every day the King of Prayers for 49 days. 2 times we scattered her ashes. The family, the Buddhists, then the ceremony and the center. So it's like we did a lot for her rebirth while she was in the bardo. Making offerings to Kopan all day, having prayers and all this. So what's the point of being sad? So just think, what does it help you when people are sad when you die?
The other way around.
Huh?
It's the other way around.
It's the other way
Makes
around.
it more difficult. They say that it's hard for you to live when people are kind of holding you. They
Yeah,
can't
right,
live.
exactly. Exactly, so this is why he says, okay, I will already be dead in people's minds while I'm still alive. They will not remember me, so that's perfectly okay. We have to see, would that be okay for me? And again, it's all about ego, self-importance. Oh no, people have to remember me, isn't it? I mean, people become famous because they want a statue in the middle of town after they're dead. What's the point? But we could fall into the trap to think that this is a good thing to have a statue in the middle of town. So maybe it helps the living. If you were a really good person, we have a statue of Pestalozzi. Anybody knows Pestalozzi? Yeah, maybe you do. It's in Switzerland when there was famine. So he was a rich man, he would take children from families with many children, and he would bring them to his home, give them food, but also education. Because poor children didn't have any education, so that's Heinrich Pestalozzi, and there's a huge statue of him, I think in Ludwig or somewhere. And then also these villages that were created after the Second World War for children to come from different European countries where there have been war. So they made the Polish house, the Czechish house, the Hungarian house, whatever, orphans, they took into Switzerland with a couple from their country so that they could continue their education, and it was called Pestalozzi Dorf. It was a Pestalozzi village. So it's and it still exists. Now, of course, the kids come from Africa or, like Afghanistan or whatever, so it's orphans, but they have a couple who look after them. And the Tibetan Children's Village, that's that principle. This is that idea. So yeah, how did we get to Pestalozzi?
Exactly, this is the question. So it's actually different. I mean, he didn't do his...
Right, the statue.
Yeah, but in order to get a statue.
No.
Actually, in this case, it's good that he has a statue because it reminds people of being compassionate.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing. So this is what I'm saying. There's also statues that can remind us of good thing. But in general, what happens at the moment when a political system changes, the statue gets, head cut off, statue down, put another one. So like this. There's also, I think we did this with Geshe Pema Dojo, these 10 innermost jewels of the Knapas. Is it? Like, may I die like a dog, have the rank of a dog, have the rank of a beggar and all this. This is mind training, right? So you can only do that if you see the benefit of it. Of course, as Netta was saying, there's always a yes but. What's the point of me thinking that I'm a beggar kind of thing? It's like, of course, That's not what you want. But if you don't get the affirmation from society, if you do not, people don't like you and all this, then you're already trained. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and it's much less distracting. There's also this very nice story from Tsongsa Khyentse Rinpoche when he said he went to visit one of his disciples in hospital who was dying, and in one of the teachings I heard that story, and next to him was a truck driver, and the truck driver was absolutely not unhappy, and he was totally okay, and Rinpoche was wonderful, and he said, aren't you sad that you said, why? I'm nobody, nobody cares about me, nobody will suffer, somebody will kind of drive my truck, and I'm only employed, I don't have children. Why should I be sad dying? Would we be capable of going like this? No. But it's nice, no? Even if you don't believe in rebirth, it's a good mind state. So we're not going to go into these 10 innermost jewels, but you can find them on the internet if you, I'm sure, if you want. And also probably on YouTube, the teachings of Geshe Pema Dorje. Okay. 38, yeah? Relinquishing all other aspirations, focusing myself on one intent alone. So what's the intent of Shantideva? What makes him go into retreat? Bodhicitta, to as quickly as possible I have to attain enlightenment. So only on that, us. How many times do we consciously do an action, except for maybe doing the prayers and sitting down in our daily life, which takes up how much % of our daily life, compared to the morning or evening meditation? How many percent-wise? How much? What do you think? Everybody is smiling. We should be, what's the word? We should be depressed when not smiling. We should go, oh yeah, God, 99.9%. And also the thoughts I have in my meditation go mostly, not bodhicitta, mostly for daily life. So we should... No, ashamed is not the right word. We should be, because depressed is also not the right word. Again, I can't find the word. It should be not panic, but distress, in distress, there we go. When you're in distress, it gives you energy to do something, I think. We should be distressed by this, but no, it makes us smile. Oh.
It's so common.
Yeah, but that doesn't help it because it's common, it doesn't make it any better. It's very common, and you see me smiling as well because I'm doing the same thing. But if I read this, then he says, focusing myself on one intent alone, I remind myself, this is what this is why I need these verses. So just looking at them once, they're not going to have big effect. But you read them again and again and again and again, then you go, this is what I want. So sometimes it's good just to take the book, just to open it somewhere. Whenever I have impatience, laziness, cowardice, shamelessness, or the desire to talk nonsense, if thoughts partially arise, at these times I should remain like a block of wood. There we go, so I know. Shouldn't tell too many stories here. I'll strive to still my mind and calming it to bring it to subsection. What does it say here? We have a little bit different translation. By only one thought, which is, to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of others and to subdue its superiors. And both in this world and the next, desire gives rise to great misfortune. In this and every other world, desire, the fertile parent of all conflict, here in this world, bonds and wounds and death, and in the next, a hell is all prepared. That's for the next rebirth. So, very often we think that anger is the problem in the world, but it's not, it's greed. It's the greed for power and money and reputation and the name and this and that. Then that leads to anger when one doesn't get what one wants. Also from Lamzopa Rinpoche, this is one sentence, like the one with desire yesterday. It's one sentence I will never ever forget. It's like if attachment doesn't get what it wants, it gets angry. And it's so true. Most of our anger comes because we have expectations, ideas, how people should behave, what they should do, and this and that. So next time you have anger, try to go beyond it and see what's happening here. Not the other person, but in me. Why? And this is psychology though, I can't remember the woman, it's a Swedish woman who, that's also one thing I'll never forget, is like, when you get angry, try to see what needs in you did not fulfill. It's very good, it takes you immediately out of the anger, puts you into compassion. But then also, we can't go around and waiting for everybody to fulfill my needs. I mean, excuse me, that's a bit much. But what we can do, to think, other people have the same needs as I have. We all have the same needs. That's also very universal. Yeah? So what I could do, I could start to fulfill the needs of others. And then people go, oh no, they will exploit me and all this. Okay, let's examine that. What is it when you get angry? Usually when you go into what needs did not get fulfilled, what are those needs that did not get fulfilled?
Appreciation.
Appreciation.
Comfort.
Is it difficult to appreciate somebody else?
No.
Very easy. What else?
Maybe comfort.
Comfort. Okay. We can try to make people comfortable also.
Being listened. Being listened.
Being listened to, very easy to listen to people, much easier than to talk to them. And it's so healing, by the way. It's really healing for them. If you can just say what's going on, without anybody trying to give you a therapy, That's another thing, we said it yesterday. If you ask somebody, how are you, and they tell you what is going on, you don't need to tell them what they have to do if they don't ask. Listening is enough. Because, for me sometimes it's a sign of no respect. I mean, this is what is going on and that's it. And I'm too lazy to do something about it, so leave me alone. I don't want advice. Yeah? But I can feel it immediately with my knees and this and that. Immediately people tell me what I should do. And I'm going to have a new knee, okay? It's an intrusive operation I will take allopathic medicine. I've decided to do that, and I'll do that. I don't want to do yoga and these things. People, but you could try first, you could try this. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to work with my body. For you, if you want to do yoga and Pilates, or what's it called, Pilates? No, what's it called? Pilates. It's, people tell me it's wonderful, wow, all the body, all the pains in my body. Yay, wonderful. I'm too lazy. I'm no interest. The same goes for, cleaning the teeth, like the one who does this. Every time she doesn't do it anymore. She says, do you clean your teeth? I said, no, I don't have enough interest. Now she's not asking anymore. And we have a nice conversation. Yeah, if I can talk while she's Anyway, so that's, this whole thing about telling others what they should do. But of course, if they ask for advice, then by all means, if you, again, as we said this morning, if you think you have the skills to really know what's going on with them and that you have knowledge about bodies and Pilates and they're interested, by all means, then show them how to do these things. I think some of you are smiling. Are you doing Pilates? Yeah. Whatever, this kind of thing. Yeah. I don't want to insult anybody because I think it's good to have a healthy body. I can make aspirations in my next life to have more interest. I like sports, this is interesting. I liked, I can't do anymore, but this was interesting. Oh, these exercises. And I don't want to be convinced that one can be interested in these boring things. Okay. Okay, so okay, now we come to the sexual attraction and sexual attachment. So again, try to remember this 8th century India, right, where not being married was a huge problem. You couldn't have any sex except with prostitutes. That was it. Otherwise you have to be married. If you have sex, there's no contraceptives. So then there's many children, and it means a lot of work. So this is where it comes from. And also the Dalai Lama, I think at one point somebody asked him, aren't you sad not to have a family? And he said, yeah. You know, I see families and I think they can be quite happy. But then I think, you know, you get together and then at the beginning it's really nice. And then you have children, then there's all this responsibility, and you have to work double because you have to give them whatever they want. And, no, I think I'm not unhappy not to have a family. So it's a bit like this. So it's not just about, it is about sexual attraction, also attachment, but it's also about wanting to be accepted by society as being a married man, as being a married man, but it can also be as being a married woman. I think it's even worse for a woman not to be married in India. Even now, I mean, if you're from an upper class family, more or less okay, if you have good education and you can look after yourself, and you go often to the West, where you're not the odd one out, so you still feel kind of okay. But if you're the odd one out all the time, you don't feel that you belong. Yeah, this is the thing. So also, if you're a woman, then and it talks about female bodies, you just have to, if you're attracted to men, you have to change it. If you're attracted to women as a woman, for me it's absolutely fine. Then you keep the women kind of thing. So then he says, you send your go-betweens, both boy and maid, with many invitations for the price, avoiding in the quest no sin, no deeds that brings an ill renown. Oof, this I don't understand. For the sake of women, many requests at first are all made to go-betweens. I mean, in the Jewish, in the Orthodox, I think it's still done, isn't it? And forms of evil and even notability are not avoided for the sake. Yeah, I mean, if you look at these ads, still now in Indian newspapers, it's all the qualities of the person, you know, when they're looking for somebody. Nobody says, oh, sometimes he or she is depressed, or I am a depressed person, I need somebody to look after me, or I'm handicapped, or I'm from this and this caste. If you're from very high caste, you put. If you're not, you don't. This is probably what it means with the lying. You know, you're not 100% honest when you go and look for a partner.
I didn't understand the English.
Yeah, me neither, totally.
What does it say?
For the sake of women, in order to find a woman, you have to go and send a matchmaker. Okay? Then, at first of all, made to go between. So you can't do it yourself. There has to go between. All forms of evil and even notoriety are not avoided for their sake. So you kind of hide your negative things. You're already to the go-between, maybe. So you are lying, they are lying, if they know how you really are. So you actually make others doing negative karma, because for you not to be totally open what kind of man you are in this case. I don't know how exactly it was at that time, but this is, I assume that that's what it means. Tenzin Zopa here says to this verse, desire is the fertile parent of all conflict. Attachment is the cause of all conflict and suffering. If we fail to free ourselves from its chains, such as general destruction, hardship, suffering, and the hell rebirth are the only things that await us. Abandoned desires, attachment, and negative karma can then end. So you can get married because you think you're a very decent person, you're wonderful, you will be a wonderful wife or husband, and you want to have children to give them a good education because you have the means and the conditions to do that. But how many people get married with that thought? How many many people get married with the thought, I want to find somebody that I can make happy? The thought, maybe, yes. But the attitude?